If your downswing looks like this, then you must watch today's video. I'm going to show you how the best players in the world, like Tiger Woods, Rory Mcilroy, Nelly, Korda, control the right side of their body in the downswing in order to help them have space. So let's take a look at the swings up on the screen right now. What can we see in all these swings? Well, it's that the trail side is working correctly in the downswing. Now, as a byproduct of this, there is loads of space for the hands and arms to move into on the way down. This is going to create some really consistent ball striking. Now, what do I mean by the word space? Well, if I bring in the downline view, at address, I am a certain distance away from the ball. Let's just focus on the trail hip, for example. As I turn back, we increase that distance because the right hip turns further back and around. Now, if I start down and I kick my leg in, so my knee goes in, my hip goes towards the golf ball, from here, I now have less space between my body and the golf ball. So one of two things are going to happen. Either the hands and arms are going to try and find the space, which is you swinging over the top, or they're going to go, well, I don't want to swing over the top, and they're going to get stuck behind your body, and quite often you have to then throw and scoop from that position. So really the key is moving the trail leg, yes, to get better mechanics, but it's also to then create the space for your hands to fall into, and then from there you will be able to time your release so much better. You'll be able to get quote unquote that lag, that great angle, the delivery position that you always see around shaft parallel in the downswing here. And again, this is just going to do absolute wonders for your ball striking. So let's now actually run through what we want to be seeing with this trail side of our body in the downswing. Now remember, everything is to do with creating that space, also helping us with our weight transfer. So let's get to the top of the backswing here. What are we going to be seeing? Well, let's start with the hip and then work down towards the foot. So the first thing is, if I draw a line down the back edge of my right glute, we want to be seeing that as we start down, we keep that right glute, that right hip back. We are not kicking it in towards the golf ball. We are keeping it back into this position. So we are maintaining what we call good hip depth. Really, really crucial concept. As we move down the leg, what we're going to see is obviously at the top of the backswing, the left leg has gained flex relative to the address position. The right leg is straighter than where it was at address. It's not fully straight, it's just lost a little bit of flex. We're going to sort of reverse those. So as we start down, we're going to see that the right leg starts to gain some flex, and the knee is going to work across the body, sort of back towards the middle line. And the other crucial element of this is the direction it goes. You can see it hasn't broken my toe line. It's gone from top of backswing, it's gained some flex and worked inwards across my body. It's not broken my toe line, so I've still got loads of space there. Now the final thing is, where is the pressure in the foot? It's not staying in the heel. What's happening is it's working to the inside part of the foot, and roughly where my club head is right there, the inside part of the ball of the left foot. Now again, this is going to help us get into a great position here to where we can also push out of the ground. If I flash up an image of Rory right here, you can see he gains that flex, and then from there he really pushes so that right leg sort of gets back to a nice sort of straight position right there. Extremely powerful movement, because two things are happening. Arms have loads of space to get back in, meaning you don't have to flip at it, you don't have to rely on timing, very, very consistent movement, but then you can very much push out of the ground. And you will see a lot of golfers, you'll see some golfers like Scotty Scheffler really bring that foot in, but you'll see golfers, especially when the ground's very wet and their foot slips, you'll see that this right foot sort of pushes backwards slightly. And that's because once they're in this great position, they push out, that foot naturally is going to want to drag backwards ever so slightly and sort of in. This is a really efficient way of using the legs. It's going to be extremely powerful, and from there you're going to see some great results. Now the final piece that I want to talk about, because this is a very good way of looking at how the foot is working, is the heel, the trail heel. So if I go to the top of the backswing, if you're somebody who sees that heel come up, firstly understand it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. If you're like a Justin Thomas, you have your hands high, you might have to kick that knee in and across in order to help you sort of tilt back onto plane. So that in that case, the heel will come up early. This is why you see some golfers, the heel does come up early. But in those situations, the key is that it doesn't kick this way towards the ball. It goes in that way. So it goes across the body, it doesn't break that toe line. So now it's time to run through some practical practical drills that are going to help you learn how to move the trail side of your body correctly. So for the first drill, all you need is an alignment stick and a basket. So as you can see, I've set the basket up with the alignment stick through it at an angle. Now the way that I've done this is I've got it in a position to where when I set up to the golf ball, that this point is roughly in the middle of my stance, maybe just past it. It's also in a position to where my right leg is, it's just below or at my kneecap height. And from the downline view, this alignment stick is pretty much on or just inside my toe line. So again, this is going to be in a position to where it's going to force me to move that right leg correctly. If I don't, I'm going to kick out towards the golf ball, which is going to give me direct feedback. So to start with, just move the ball out of the way, just do a couple of practice swings and feel what it feels like to get that knee working across the body, the right hip staying back, all of the good movements that we're looking to see. You'll notice that A, you've got so much more space on the way down to get your arms into a good position. B, you'll feel like your weight shift starts to happen a lot more naturally. And C, ultimately you're going to have so much more time and space to get into a great impact position. Now let me bring the ball back in, set up to the golf ball here, get it in the right spot, and now let's actually hit a shot. Again, I'm not going to hit this alignment stick, it's inside enough to where it's not even going to bother my strike, but I can hit this and I can make sure that knee's working correctly. And as you can see right there, I made that swing, didn't even get close to hitting that alignment stick, and from there I felt like I had loads of space and ultimately hit a little draw. Now the second drill that I'm going to take you through actually has two variations. Now to do this drill, all you need is a wedge. I've got a lob wedge here, a 58-degree wedge. Now what you're going to do for the first variation is set up to the golf ball and place this wedge underneath your trail heel. Now the key with this drill is to not let this club drop and hit the ground till after impact. It can start to fall around impact, but until it actually physically hits the ground, it wants to be after impact. Let me just show you what a good one would look like here. So here's a good swing all the way through, and you can see that didn't drop till well after impact and it hit the ground well after impact. Now if it is in a position to where you're kicking in a lot with this right foot and you're getting into this position, you can see how quickly that's going to fall out right there. You're going to get a lot of feedback because you can actually feel it under your foot start to lift off. So you're trying to make sure that this takes as long as possible to hit the ground. So that means keeping that foot down, working that trail leg correctly, swinging all the way through. This is the most practical drill out of all of them. It's easiest to do, just shove a golf club underneath your heel. And again, you can do it with pretty much any sort of club that you're hitting with right here. So, a good position, shove the wedge under, from there make a swing, make sure that doesn't hit the ground till after impact. So let's now run through the second variation of this drill. This is arguably my favorite variation, although it's a little bit more fiddly to sort of set up. So set up to the golf ball normally. Take that wedge, place it underneath the ball of your lead foot, then you're going to step over with your right leg so it's behind your right leg. Now here's the thing. If you go to the top of the backswing and you kick forwards, your leg's going to come off this golf club. Instead, you want to be feeling like you can keep that leg sliding down that club and all the way through for as long as possible. This is going to give you direct feedback, get you that sensation of that leg working across the body, pressure shifting to the inside part of that trail foot, keeping everything back right there. So let me show you what this looks like. Set up to the golf ball normally, underneath the ball of the lead foot. Again, I'm going to try and slide my leg down that club as I swing through. Now, if you need more one-to-one help with your game, maybe you're struggling to identify why you can't nail down this movement, I offer online coaching on the Skillist platform. The link is down in the description, so please check that out. If you have enjoyed today's video, please give it a like and subscribe, and I hope to see you back here soon.